hello.
Oh, hello.
And welcome to the Comic Queens podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Annie. And today, Alex and I are extremely excited to get into Manga March.
Yes, very exciting to get some of these off of our reading list. They've been staring at us on the shelves. And these ones are worse because they can physically stare at us.
Yeah, they are physically staring at me. I think it's also really important to know if I'm spending my money on things that I actually enjoy.
This is true. We do have a bad habit of buying multiple volumes of something before having read them. And then maybe liking them, maybe not.
So we're going to figure it out together. This month, we're going to be focused on reading a bunch of different manga series that we've been meaning to, that have been sitting on the TBR. And it'll just be, I think, really cathartic for us to get through. So I kind of created my own theme for Manga March, which was, I'm going to start out with one-shots. It's the first episode. I'll start out with a couple of just, one and done series and see if they were worth the money. So starting out is Dear Demon King. This is one that actually released in 2025, but it's by Eimu Sotome and it's published by Tokyo Pop. This story is one that I'm a bit conflicted on. So maybe I'll decide how I feel about it as I talk to you.
All right, got to process as we're going.
Yeah, we're learning together. So this story follows Kugyoku. He is the Demon King, and he notices a trend that a lot of these monsters and demons are being attacked. So he takes it upon himself to try to keep everyone safe and protected. He has like a separate realm he keeps everybody in to make sure that they're okay. And in comes Topaz, who arrives as an egg because Topaz is a griffin.
Okay.
And his parents are injured and leave him behind. So the Demon King takes it upon himself. He's like, I'll make sure that the egg hatches. He'll be taken care of in the kingdom. Mm-hmm. That's fine. So it's fast forward. Topaz is now a grown man griffin. And it's not really explained why his parents were full griffins and why he's a half griffin.
Because both of his parents were full griffins?
They were.
Maybe the mom had a little side action going on.
Well, it is insinuated that it's because he wasn't going to make it to term. And so the Demon King, imbued his magic to make sure that the egg hatched okay.
Oh, okay.
So for some reason, that magic made him half not griffin. But that's weird. And I don't know why that was
What does
happened.
this man look like? The half griffin?
Beautiful.
Okay.
They're both beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's just call it what it is. They're manga men.
Okay, but is he noticeably a griffin?
He has wings.
Okay, and that's it?
And like sharp talon claw fingers.
All the time or like a transformer?
All the time. Like a transformer. Is he also part car?
I meant more like shapeshifter, but Transformer came out.
Yeah, Transformer works fine. The story really follows the fact that Topaz is in love with the Demon King. Mm-hmm. And the Demon King is also in love with Topaz. But in this one, we get into that very precarious territory of the Demon King basically raised you.
Yeah, as soon as you said he was left there as an egg, I knew what your problem was going to be.
Yeah. I have qualms, and they're not unfounded. So there are multiple things that happen, including the Demon King going to war to defend all the people of his kingdom, and he actually gets injured. And so he's losing a lot of his magical abilities. He's also been using his magical abilities to help keep his people safe. Mm-hmm. And he's also using his magical abilities to try to keep people's injuries from getting too bad while they're at this war. So basically what happens is Topaz realizes that the Demon King is struggling and gives him his own magic and becomes fully a griffin.
Okay, I'm not sure that's how that would go, but I guess it's not my story.
You know what? It's not our story, okay? It's Topaz's. So in doing so, the Demon King is like, this sucks because I love Topaz, and now he's a griffin. So apparently he has standards. It's not, I can't date the person that I raised. It's,
I can't date this griffin. Look, we all have lines.
We all have lines we won't cross. But in the power of love, I guess Topaz is able to restore and become part human again. And the Demon King is like, yeah, I'll give him some of my magic so he can be himself again. And then they end up happily ever after.
Do they call it the power of love?
No, okay. That's my own branding. The power of love, TM. Yeah, I mean, this one was, the character design was really pretty. Mm-hmm. It felt very bland. And also it has my least favorite trope, which is the main character raising the other love interest.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
It's actually disgusting. So overall, I don't think that this one was for me, but I'm glad that I read it and got it out of the way.
Yeah. Good.
So there we go. Now we know.
Off with a start.
That's the best way to put it.
So the first one that I read today is Lovers on the Last Train. This is also a single volume. I did not follow your rules of all single volumes, although all three of these will be single volumes because most of the ones that I read were.
Yeah.
So these are all kind of romance-based ones, though. So this one is about Haruo, and he is in a relationship. So it's like an established couple. And the guy he's in a relationship with is Fujishima. And they have been together for like some time now. So they're just going about their lives, you know, everyday things. Mm-hmm. They're on the train, and Haruo is worried that Fujishima is going to leave him. Like, he's just a kind of worried person. He thinks that Fujishima is kind of out of his league. And so he just kind of gets nervous about it.
So is he giving the type of energy, like, would you still love me if I was a worm kind of anxieties in a relationship?
They don't say what they say that they had a fight, but they don't say what it's about. So if you want to put that in there, that that's what the fight was about, I'll allow it.
Okay, that's what it is in my head. Continue.
Okay. So they do, Haruo is like, okay, I'm gonna just reminisce. Well, I'm sure he didn't think I'm gonna reminisce, but he starts reminiscing.
He's like, maybe I'll start reminiscing, but in like 30 minutes.
So he starts reminiscing about how they met. And Haruo is the lead engineer for an app company. Mm-hmm. And his team was designing an app called Suddenly. And it's a dating app. And it actually sounds kind of cool. Mm-hmm. So what it is, it's kind of like Tinder, you know, swipe to match, whatever. But then if you are near someone who you match with, it will make a noise and alert you that your match is nearby. So this is an older established couple too. They're both in their 40s, mm-hmm. which is kind of cool to see because I feel like so often you see like college age, high school age, you know, so it's fun to see some older characters here. But he's still single in his 40s, and his younger coworkers are like, man, you know, if people really wanted to be in a relationship, then they would be. Like, I don't know what's wrong with these people who can't be in relationships.
Yeah.
And Haruo is like, okay, I'm just gonna hide over here and not say anything. So he does download the app because, you know, he has to test it out. And he gets one match, and he never deletes the app. But he's like, I'm not interested in dating. I don't really want to do this. Also, the guy who I matched with kind of looks like a catfish. There's no way that guy is real and interested in me.
Yeah.
And so then he goes out to a bar by himself, and he sits down, he's ordering his drink, and all of a sudden his notification goes off that his one match is there, and it's Fujishima. And so Fujishima's like already like, all right, I'm going to pursue you. This is going to be fun. Let's sit down. Let's have some drinks. Let's talk and get to know each other. And so they end up going to a hotel together, mm-hmm. and Haruo is like, not experienced at all. And so he kind of does a little white lie and's like, oh, it's been a while, but really it's been never.
Oh, it's been a while, aka a really long while.
So he goes to the bathroom. He's like, all right, I'm going to go get ready. And he like has a meltdown. He's like just super nervous. He's like, I don't know why I said that. I don't know what I'm going to do. And then he goes out there and Fujishima's like super nice. He's like, we don't have to do anything. Like we can just hang out and it's too late. We've missed the train. So we'll just both stay here. And then in the morning we can leave and it's fine. Like no worries. And so Harue is like, okay, well, you can share the bed with me because Fujishima offered to stay on the couch. But Harue is like, no, it's fine. Like, the bed's big enough. We can both fit. It's okay. Mm-hmm. And then Fujishima leaves in the morning, and he leaves a little thing of orange juice on the counter. Now, he does something that he thinks is cute, and probably other people would think is cute, but I think is a little stupid, because he leaves his contact information on the bottom of the orange juice thing. So Harue never sees it, because it's on the bottom of the orange juice thing, and he never, like, flipped it upside down to be like, wonder what's on the bottom of this.
Yeah, no, that is genuinely not a good idea.
Right? Like, cute idea, but bad in practice.
Bad execution.
Yeah. So some time does go on, and Harue is like, okay, well, he never contacted me again, so clearly, like, he wasn't interested. And they end up running into each other again because there's a young girl who gets ice cream all over Harue and then is, like, also having a meltdown because she's a little girl and she lost her ice cream. And also she ran into this adult that she doesn't know. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I got ice cream all over you. Yeah. And Fujishima comes over and, like, smooths everything over. And they have their little, like, why didn't you ever respond to me? Or, like, why didn't you ever reach out? And they realize the misunderstanding that happened. And so they start dating. And then there's, like, a little blip of some drama that comes in because Fujishima is a wedding planner. Gay marriage is not legal, but he does do gay marriages as well. And that's something that they talked about at the beginning when they were doing their get to know you thing. And he's like, you know, I just love doing weddings, and I've always thought that it should be for everyone. And even if these aren't legal bindings, like, I still want everyone to have their dream wedding.
Yeah.
And so he runs into one of his old clients, and his old client is like, I divorced my partner and I'm in love with you. So leave this boring man and you come be with me. And Fujishima's like, don't talk to him that way.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. They just kind of go home after that. And there is a little bit more drama of, like, a love confession that needs to come and everything, but it just, you already know that they were in a relationship at the beginning. Yeah. And so it's really just looking back on it and saying, like, getting reacquainted with how they met each other since they had this little fight at the beginning.
Okay.
So it's pretty cute.
Yeah.
It's not like, I don't know, it's not one I would revisit, but I am glad that I read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. It's also, like, pretty wholesome, I would say.
Well, the next one I have for you is not wholesome. Which I think was to be expected since it's my story.
Yeah.
This one is one that I do have established feelings for, and they're not great, unfortunately. So we're just starting out strong. This one is called Platinum Blood. This is a vampire story, so who knows? Might be up Alex's alley, but we'll get there. This one is by Mor Ichigaya, and it's published by Tokyo Pop. This story follows Alucard and Kaname. Alucard is a vampire, and when he's young, he's basically saved by this church. And so he kind of works and does, like, acts of service for them in exchange for being under their care. And Alucard develops feelings for Kaname, who is one of the priests. Now, this is kind of one, again, where it really feels like Kaname was involved in Alucard's life as, like, a parental figure for the majority of his life, and now they're love interests. And I say, tisk, tisk, nay, nay. Why does this keep happening to me? And it wasn't obvious, like, from the description. I got to this point in the beginning and go, there's no way that, like, I just picked this up and had no idea.
Was it obvious in the first one?
What in the first one?
This plot line, was it obvious that that was going to be in the first one?
It mentioned that, like, he took possession of the egg.
Okay.
In Dear Demon King.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I probably could have pieced that one together. This one just didn't touch on it at all. So I felt deceived. I was duped. I was sold on the beautiful vampire on the cover and the priest who was a little scantily clad.
I mean, vampire and priest, it's a fun pairing.
Yeah, it's a fun pairing. So they develop a romantic relationship, mostly because Alucard needs blood. But not only that, apparently any bodily fluid can be life-sustaining for him.
Okay, now I've seen other ones where it's like, okay, this is just pleasurable, so we're going to have this romantic relationship and the blood. But I've never seen one that's like, nope, it's anything.
Yeah, it's anything. Which,
also, does that mean like he could pee on him and it would work?
They don't touch on that, but I would assume that that's kind of what they're getting at. He does consume other bodily fluids other than blood.
We could piece that together.
Yeah, wink, wink. You get it. So, as Alucard continues to have this relationship with Kaname, he didn't realize that feeding from him, if it's done too frequently, can actually inject basically what turns you into a vampire. And so Kaname starts transitioning into being a vampire. It's a somewhat slow process. And so Alucard seeks out some of the wisdom of other vampires that are around. And he's like, I didn't grow up around other vampires. I don't know much about our kind, like, at all. You need to help me. This priest doesn't want to be a vampire. And so the vampire, like, gives a little bit of an education to the both of them on, like, yeah, obviously if you keep biting him, that's how vampires turn into vampires, you weirdo. But we also learned something very interesting, which is he's like, how were you raised in a church when, like, the cross should repel you? And they learn that he's actually a Dhampir and not a vampire, which apparently a Dhampir is like a half vampire.
Okay.
So he was born of a vampire and a human. And his blood, if he offers it up, can actually work as
an antidote.
Yeah. So it's basically left up to Kaname whether or not he turns into a vampire. And he takes a lot into consideration, like, do I want to leave Alucard or do I want to stay with him forever? Like, I don't want him to be alone. And so Kaname offers. He's like, I offer to be a vampire and, like, turn into this for you because I want to be with you. And Alucard tells him no. And he's like, I need you to take this antidote and I need you to not be a vampire. And he's like, because I love you, like, I don't wish this on you. And I also want to make sure that we just get to enjoy the time that we should have had and not, like, try to make more time for ourselves. We should just, like, relish in the moment. And so he does end up taking the medicine, and it ends on a sweet note of, I don't want to leave you, but let's spend as much time as we can here together and just be sure to find me in my next life so we can be together again. There are moments of this where I'm like, this is precious and I love it.
Yeah, I do like that. Find me again in the next life.
I think that it was a really, like, fresh take on a lot of the vampire stuff. I've read a lot of vampire things with you. And I feel like I haven't seen that much. Like, usually it's people end up turning into the vampire for their partner, the end.
That is one thing I loved about My Vampire Husband on Webtoon.
Yeah.
Is that Cheryl never turned into a vampire and she's just this adorable little old lady with her forever young vampire husband.
Yeah. I mean, they just enjoyed the life that they had together. I think there's something really understated and beautiful. I don't, however, think that it's understated or beautiful for you to do that with somebody that you raised. So I'm just going to leave that there. That's my 2 cents. I, like, don't regret reading this one, but the amount of cringe that I had because I have a hard time reading those tropes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I wouldn't pick this back up. And that makes me sad for it. I was like, if you just take a couple elements out.
So you're kind of 0 out of 2.
Yeah. For now. We'll get there.
This next one I have is called Call Me Master. And this one is a single volume. It's a shorter one, and I picked it up just for the name. I thought it sounded fun.
We've read a manhwa called Call Me Master.
Yeah.
Which was very good.
Yeah. So this one is about Akira, and he is a host at a club. And the host, I never like fully comprehended what these host job, like what their job actually is, because it's insinuated that like they are kind of dating all of these women, but also not. Like the women, of course, are paying for the company, but like they're trying to get these women to like buy expensive bottles of champagne.
Host culture is very different than I think anything we have in the US.
Yeah.
It is kind of like...
So it's something you're familiar with?
Yes.
Okay.
Only because I was raised on Ouran High School Host Club.
Yeah.
Which is very similar. It's like a high school club where these guys in their downtime just decide to like spoil these women and just make them feel special.
Yeah.
And then they invest money in the services. And like, that's it. It's just kind of like entertainment almost. Yeah. Or like renting someone to flirt with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda. That's what it seems like. But at this club specifically, I don't know if this is how it is everywhere. They put everything on a tab, and then the women are supposed to pay the tabs at the end.
Okay.
And they call them princesses.
Aw.
There. So there's another guy, and his name is Tsukasa, and he is new. And he has one princess that he is with, and she leaves before she pays. So he goes to Akira, and he's like, what do I do? And Akira's pissed because he's the number one host. Like, this is his club. He runs this place. Mm-hmm. And so he tells Tsukasa that I will buy you and be your master. And that's how you're going to pay this debt off. So he is like, yeah, all right, I'll do that. I'm a good boy.
Love the energy, Tsukasa.
Yeah. And so Akira is like, okay, you're just going to be my assistant, do whatever I want you to do, whatever. He gives him some tasks, and then Tsukasa sees that he can't sleep very well at night unless he has someone sleeping with him. So he's like, Akira, I will sleep with you. And then, you know, that'll solve your not being able to sleep problem. And it does. This one is a bit PWP, but it's almost like P with a little W.
P with a little P?
P with a little P. So then Akira is like, he needs to be the best. He wants to be the number one guy at this place. And he is feeling conflicted because he's starting to have feelings for Tsukasa, but there's also another guy who returns to the club. His name is Ray, and he used to be the number one there. And Akira, not a fan of Ray. Mm-hmm. He doesn't like the way he runs the business. He thinks that he was doing some shady things, and he's like, you need to get out of here because I want to run a clean business. And so they have like a little face-off of whoever makes the most of these special drinks at this next event is the winner.
Yeah.
And so Akira is asking everyone else who doesn't really like him that much to help him out from advice from Tsukasa. And he is like, okay, please help me. I know I haven't been like the greatest in the past, but please help me. I want to beat Ray. And all the guys are like, okay, well, he has helped us in the past. Maybe he's not the nicest guy, but he did help us out, so we'll help him out too. And so they all help out to see who is going to win. I'm not going to tell you who wins or how this story ends, because I do think that you'll like this one. And that's why I said it. At first I was going to call it PWP when I first started reading this one. But then when it got to the end, I was like, okay, there actually is a little bit of plot in here.
Are we talking like Richard Fye Island kind of levels of plot?
No, it's different because there's a reveal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm going to have to read this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. I'm glad you read it. Thanks for the rec.
Me too. I like this one, and you will like it. I know you will.
Yeah, I probably will. Well, I actually did like the next one that I get to talk about, so I'm really excited. This one is called God of Seduction in the Bedroom. So shocking, nobody. I like this one. This is by Fumi Tsuyuhiya, and it's published by Seven Seas. This story follows Satoru, and he is what you would consider on the outside to be a perfect man. Mm-hmm. He's really handsome. He's got an incredible job. He works like as the head of marketing for this ad agency. Like, he's just got a lot going for him. And he's engaged at the beginning of the story, but that doesn't last for very long. This woman breaks off the engagement with him because he's bad in bed.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I mean, it's understandable. You can't blame the girl. Okay. Yeah. She's like, I can't spend my whole life like this. And you're not getting any better. So even though he's bad, he's like, well, there has to be like a silver lining. I've got all this stuff going for me. I'll figure it out eventually. Until this little god pops up. And he's like a little chibi. And he's like the equivalent for this story of almost a Cupid. Mm-hmm. And he goes, congratulations, you have won an award of worst at sex ever.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
So he was really holding out hope, but he's just bad. So he's like, what do I do? And they go, don't worry. I'm literally here to help you.
The god is?
The god is.
Okay.
He's like, I'm going to help you find your chemistry and your flow, and I'll help you be good in bed.
This feels like a Ponzi scheme that the god is running. He was like going to different people and being like, you're the worst, but I can help you be better.
Who's to say? I mean, here's the thing. Once the worst isn't the worst anymore, he's got other worsts to help. So, you know, who's to say?
Yeah.
But this god, Achan, is like, I'm going to help you. And I'm going to point to you and tell you who your ideal partner is. And that's where this all starts. Like, it's all about chemistry. Mm-hmm. So he sees this, like, picture in the office, at Satoru's office, and he goes, that's the person. And it's this beautiful actress. And Satoru's like, oh my gosh, like, we're working on an ad with her right now. Like, that, she's my, like, ideal partner. And he goes, no, him. And so he points to this other famous actor named Hoshina. And Satoru's like, I'm not gay. And he's like, I mean, I have the magic powers here. And I'm going to tell you, if you want to be good in bed, you're going to have to bottom. So Satoru's like, oh, okay, so it gets worse.
Oh my gosh.
Satoru is like, I'm not meeting this person. Like, I refuse. I'll just be bad at sex. I'll live my life alone. It's fine.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for him, he gets to this coffee shop and Hoshina is there, the actor. So he's like, I'm just going to pretend like Hoshina's not here. And the god literally possesses Satoru and goes, hey, do you want to have sex with me? And Hoshina's like, no thanks. And then Satoru goes, well, here's my card. And they leave, and Satoru remembers everything but wasn't in control. And he's like, what have you done?
Oh my gosh.
I have to work with this man in a professional capacity. But he gets a phone call from Hoshina later that night. And he's like, oh my God, no. Now I have to follow through with this. What am I supposed to do? So he thinks about backing out. But he also doesn't want his professional image to be damaged. So he's like, I'll go and I'll explain myself. And he gets there, and Hoshina starts the conversation saying, you're possessed. Like, you were being possessed. I can, like, sense spiritual powers. Mm-hmm. And there's something lurking over you that I can feel. And it made you offer to have sex with me. And Satoru's like, oh, this is my chance. Like, I get to get out of this. And he realizes he starts talking himself into a hole. And so he's like, this thing that's haunting me just wants me to have sex with you, and I want it to go away. And so Hoshina's like, okay, I'll have sex with you, so it goes away. So what starts out as basically a pity fuck turns into them actually having a very nice time together. And Satoru is like, oh, well, apparently this is how I become not the worst at sex, because I actually like being with Hoshina. And so he goes back to Hoshina and he's like, the thing that's possessing me hasn't gone away yet. We have to do it again. And Hoshina's like, is that the only reason why we have to do it again? And Satoru can't come to terms with it himself. So he's like, yes, that is why. So unfortunately, he ends up starting to hook up with Hoshina on a somewhat regular basis. And for a while, they're both at this weird standstill of Hoshina not wanting to push Satoru and be like, hey, do we actually have feelings for each other? Because his understanding is the only reason he's doing this is to get rid of this possession. Yeah. And Satoru has already told him he doesn't want to be possessed anymore and is worried that if he's like, oh, I actually just want to sleep with you, and this guy doesn't have to be involved, this little spirit man. He's like, what if I say that and Hoshina doesn't want to be with me anymore?
Yeah.
And at the end, they end up coming to a consensus and like professing their feelings for each other. And it's very cute.
It sounds funny.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
And I love the characters. The god is very mischievous.
Yeah.
He's an adorable little chibi. But I loved them. The entire thing, so good. I like enjoyed reading it, and I would probably go and read it again, honestly.
I'm excited for you. Finally, one that you're really liking. Also, a mischievous chibi.
The best kind.
The best. I am also very excited to talk about this next one. I have told you earlier this week how excited I was to talk about this one. This is Number Call. Now, I know that you have read this one already.
Yes, I have.
And you may or may not have purchased this multiple times on accident.
Listen, I didn't realize I owned it. This was my Huazen sauce. Everyone has seen it. I was like, Number Call, that looks good. I'm going to buy it. Oh, I already have it on my bookshelf. Number Call, I'm going to buy that. Oh my God, I have 2 of these on my bookshelf.
Yeah.
Yeah. It happens to the best of us.
Now, I finally read it because I also own a copy of it. And I loved this one. It's super cute. We need to recommend this to Michael.
Yes.
Because these characters firmly believe that it is hard, if not impossible, to be friends if you are not in the same cohort.
I didn't even put it together. In my head, I was like, do they say something about onomatopoeias?
No, this is a direct quote. We're in different programs, so there's no reason for us to interact again. So, Michael, if you're listening, which I know you're not, we're going to have to tell you anyways. I found a perfect story for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll just have to put like a picture of Godzilla in the middle, and then it literally will be perfect for him.
Just a random picture, but we have to pick the right onomatopoeia.
Yeah. Scream.
So this is a single volume. It's like a super cute little story. And we have our main character. His name is Akito, but his nickname is Eito. Mm-hmm. And it's just because of like, they explain it, the different kanji and like how it looks. And that's why it makes sense. Like if you read it, it's difficult to tell that his name is Akito. Mm-hmm. So if you say it out loud, it wouldn't register. But like in school and when you see his name written, it looks like Eito. Mm-hmm. And so he's had this nickname his whole life. He hates it. He's like, I don't want to be known as Eito.
It's not my name.
It's not my name. And people think it's funny when he gets 8s around him. So like he got a score of 88 on his test. And his friends are like, haha, so funny. Did you do that on purpose? And he's like, no.
8s for Eito. Yeah.
I didn't. So he loses his test, and another boy from school saves it. His name is Hachi, which also means 8. So he's like kindred spirits. You're an 8, I'm an 8. We're meant to be friends.
Yeah.
And so he goes about his business, you know. Eito is like, we're never going to see each other again because we're not in the same programs. So it was nice running into you one time only ever.
No intermingling.
No intermingling. And Hachi is like, okay, I'm going to be friends with this guy. So he forces him to share an umbrella when it's raining. And then they just slowly start becoming friends. Like they start to walk home together. They go to the library and study together. And they're just like super, super cute. And Akito is like, he's trying to process his feelings because he's never been interested in anyone before. Like he's never had a crush. So this is like his first crush or first love interest. And so he doesn't really like understand, or he's trying to process the difference between his romantic feelings versus feelings of friendship.
Yeah.
And so Hachi is also like kind of in the same boat. Like this is a first love story. And Hachi at one point makes a comment of like, if I were a girl, I would love for you to be my boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And this freaks Akito out. He's like, I don't know what to do with that comment. And so he avoids him for a long time.
Yeah.
After this. And like the end of the school year happens, and then, or I guess it was the end of the year, and they come back for the new year, and he's still ignoring him. And so he's just, like, really upset about this, Hachi is. They eventually just meet up and have a cute little love confession moment, and it's just, like, a super, super sweet little story. I just loved it. I think my absolute favorite thing about it, though, is that they understand that you can't be friends with people who aren't in your same programs.
They've really overcome adversity.
Yeah.
Adversity.
Adversary. They did overcome that adversary.
No, they overcame adversity.
But it's so cute.
You know what I meant?
It's so cute. I'm glad you bought 3 copies of them.
That way I can loan it out. I did end up finding new homes for them, so I do hope that everybody who has received my additional copies enjoyed it just as much as we did.
Yes.
Yeah, it was super cute. All right, we are down to our last manga. This one is called Far From Romance. This is also a newer manga that came out in 2026. Mm-hmm. So, of course, even though this one hasn't been staring at me as long, it was staring at me and it looked adorable. Mm-hmm. So I had to know. This story is by Amamiya and it's published by Seven Seas. The story follows Arata, who is a diligent office worker. He's a manager at his firm, and he is, in no uncertain terms, overworked. He has, like, no break times built in. He'll sit there and work his evenings through at work so often that sometimes he just stays at work so that he's there for the morning.
Oh, my gosh.
And he doesn't really know how to take breaks for himself at all. In comes Lewis Carter. He is an IT professional from England who decides when he's traveling to Japan that he wants to stay and live there. Mm-hmm. And so he gets a work visa. And one of the hiring managers at Arata's firm is like, you should work here because we need your services. So Lewis just accepts and is at work the next day. And he's like, hi, I have a job now.
Cool.
Arata is immediately like, wow, he's beautiful. Like, just taken by him. Like, I think a lot of it, too, falls into the fact that Lewis is very different from, like, the norms. Mm-hmm. So he's blonde hair, bright blue eyes, pale skin. And Arata's like, you don't see people that look like you every day around here. So he's just smitten internally. And when Lewis starts working, everyone starts to very quickly realize, one, that he's overqualified. Like, the job that they're having him do, he can do, like, with his eyes closed. So he just starts kind of helping out everybody else. And he notices that Arata won't take breaks for himself. Mm-hmm. So he's, like, trying to get Arata to, like, join the company dinners and, like, leave work at a reasonable time. And he's like, oh, I can dabble in whatever it is that you're working on so that I can help you as well. And Arata doesn't take to this very well. He's like, no, I'm comfortable in my work, so thank you for that. Mm-hmm. However, there is a company dinner that ends up happening, and Lewis is working really hard to try to get him to go, and so are the other coworkers. And Arata ends up, like, turning around and hurting one of his coworkers' arms, and he's like, I'm so sorry, how can I make it up to you? And they're like, you could go to the company dinner, and they guilt him into it.
Oh my gosh. It's like My Sweet Dear.
Yeah. So immediately Arata is, like, nervous to spend more time around Lewis, mostly because, one, like, the customs that they share are not the same. So Lewis, like, bursts people's personal space and bubbles and, like, gives them hugs and stuff like that, which you don't do in the workplace in Japan. Mm-hmm. And he wants to, like, talk really loudly about everything in his personal life, like, very quickly tells everyone that he's gay. And everyone's like, are you supposed to say, like, that readily? Is that, like, a thing that's allowed? But so Lewis and Arata end up leaving because Arata has to go and do more work. And Lewis is like, oh, I'll go to the office too, and I'll help you finish it up. And so they sit down together, and Lewis looks at him and he goes, do you not remember me? Like, truly not remember me? And Arata is really taken aback, and he realizes that his first love that he ever had was somebody who came to his small island, and he ended up, like, showing them around because they didn't speak Japanese. Mm-hmm. And so he showed this little tourist around like the whole day, and then they never saw each other again.
Yeah.
And Lewis is like, it was me. Like, I came back for you. I knew where to find you. I knew you were staying here. You told me you wanted to live here. So I'm going to stay here too.
Oh my gosh.
And so they basically start to work Arata out of his habit of overworking and staying at work by helping him to realize, like, he has other interests outside of it. And the both of them just fall in love slowly in front of our eyes. It's so pretty. I loved this one. The both of them are super adorable. And I will say I love just the opposites attract energy that they have.
Yeah.
Like, one's really, like, sweet and quiet, and the other is, like, really boisterous. It's adorable.
I do love a good opposites attract. It
So,
sounds super cute.
highly, highly recommend.
Ending on a high note. I'm glad that there were a couple in there that you did like.
It was 50-50 for this one, honestly, for me. But you know what? That just means I get to make more room on my bookshelf for other books.
Yep.
So it works out for me. But thank you all so, so much for joining us. And we're looking forward to talking to you all on the next one.
Goodbye.
Bye.